Welcome friends to another Dune video. Today we are going to examine the faith of the Fremen, what it is now and how it's let them live and thrive on Arrakis. Spoilers for the Dune Encyclopaedia and the main books throughout. Let's get straight into it. The Fremen religion demands close obedience to a single leader whose choices carry with them life and death. These Naib have to fit what the tribe needs them to be, which will often be challenged by others. Such as we see with Stilgar and Jamis. When Paul and his mother first encounter the Fremen, the Atreides are quickly assessed by them. Stilgar sees their value, Jamis does not, and loses his life because of it. Thus, the Fremen held a paradoxical notion of social order. The leader of any group was supreme, but only if everyone who belonged to that group wanted him to be. This is a quote from the Dune Encyclopaedia. This structure lasted for thousands of years. And why? Because everyone works for the tribe. There are two changes I must note that are exceptions to this. One is Leto Kynes, who influences the Fremen to want for more, a planet with life on it, and Paul Naib, who fulfills their prophecy and leads them to a war against so many that have oppressed them over the many centuries. Before they stopped wandering, the Fremen were called Sunni wanderers, and that still holds influence now. This is shown in the Sunni belief in a single God who does not look at the small events you live through every day, but at the larger, long-term picture, perhaps a sign of how their population survives being moved around so many times, that it was part of a larger tapestry that they could see and that God wanted for them. The Sunni part of their faith is nicely summarised as for the good of the tribe. Its justification for otherwise distasteful acts. Leaders of these sietch or communities could be challenged in combat, as we see with Paul and Stilgar in the first book, where it appears they might be pitted against each other for the tribe's leadership. This was largely resolved by Stilgar remaining the leader of the sietch and Paul being the leader of all the Fremen on Arrakis. And in line with this position of leadership, the leader also dispenses justice. They are the judge and jury, as he would be under Sunni Shia law. This Sunni faith also extends to the giant sandworms that they live with on Arrakis. And here's another full quote from the Dune Encyclopaedia. To the Fremen, the planet was Shia-Lud, the deity or spirit of Arrakis. It stood for the sandworm, which was the essence of all sandworms. Shia-Lud was the old man of the desert, old father eternity, and grandfather of the desert. The sandworms of Arrakis were both the bane and boon of Arrakis. Another part of this faith was with the water of life. As part of the Fremen ceremony, it shows how they will treat their god with awe, but he could be practical too, and make use of it to the tribe. The water of life is a liquid retrieved from a sandworm as it drowns, and it's given to the Sayadina, or Reverend Mother of the Fremen, when she is near to dying and a replacement needs to be found. A woman is chosen and the poison taken, and if she survives, by which I mean she has been able to convert the poison to something inert, then she will gain the genetic memory of all her predecessors and become the new Reverend Mother. For the tribe, she then regurgitates this liquid, and it's shared amongst the Fremen, so they experience a spice orgy, a shared narcotic experience amongst them, creating a closer bond. So they both partake of the body of their god and also use it for the tribe to bond to each other. In the Fremen, we can see their mass distrust of authority to the point of the extreme when they go on their rampage around the known universe in their holy war or jihad under Paul. This shows they do not want to submit to authority, and this could link back to their time as wanderers, making their own choices, and even how in the present tense of the first book they have hidden so much of who they are and what they can do from those in authority, showing their deep lack of trust. This is another quote from the Dune Encyclopaedia. The Fremen believed that all were utterly indifferent toward whether they lived or died. Such forces simply existed, the Zen side of them, Shia-Lud, whether literal sandworm or personified arrakiA, might bring harm or good to the Fremen. But whatever the end result, it was not on Shia-Lud's mind to do either. It was just the way things are, and they found value in their lives by dedication to the tribe or sietch, which acted as its own enclosed world, a huge extended family and a government. The sietch provided a place in the world, everything you could need, from purpose to companions to food and shelter. So under the Zen part of their Sunni ancestors, the Fremen accept things as they are, and with this self-discipline, they avoid a frustrating struggle. In Zen, what you do is what you do. There is no scale against which to measure of success or failure. As a consequence, within its tight world, there was no place for those who did not understand it. The line being so slim, someone not up to the task could greatly hinder the survival of the group, a burden, a drain on resources. So the question becomes, what could they add that was not already within the operation of the tribe? So now I turn this over to you. What do you think to this journey through the Fremen's faith? Do you see how it supports and sustains them on arrakiA? Have you wandered here from another planet? Comment down below.